one step closer to having medical marijuana right here in our state. Regulations were finalized and posted earlier this month, and now the commission is set to take on applicants.
I retired from NASA after 39 years, and I have been loving retirement. I love quilting. I love lunching with my friends and going to water aerobics and a little travel here and there, and I am not bored. And I love helping my church and do work for them. So when my son and my nephew started talking to me about this, my first thought was, well, okay, this is a good thing. This is really a good thing. I had to really look at some of the science, and you know, NASA's all about science. So as I got more involved in this, I understood this is about science and people also. That's what it's about, and it's really time. So I went from someone who knew very little about it, didn't like it, it was illegal, we were taught that it was bad. If someone smoked it, they got arrested, and who knew that, I mean, I sort of knew about these edibles where people would make brownies and stuff, but I thought mostly just people smoked it. We are praying for every day that the call for applications gets delayed a little bit. I can't imagine getting another partner in place who would be willing to do our application at this point. So Scott, you've been in this business a whole lot longer than me. What do you think happened with Brian when we talked to him yesterday?
Yeah, I think he spoke with his partner and they reevaluated the situation, and they felt that 5% wasn't enough and that they wanted 20%, you know, that they thought that what they were bringing to the table was worth that.
It must be that you introduced this other company. It has to be.
Yeah.
So it must be that strategy. And so I just have this gut feeling that that's what it was.
Well, I think we scared him a lot too, because we gave him a lot of bullet points of everything that we wanted him to do. And
Yeah.
it was kind of significant as far as the application
Yes, see,
goes.
I don't think
It
I'd
was
have
all
taken
those
that
bullet
approach.
points. Right. But we wanted to kind of go the all approach. Go, let's give you everything, you know, and try to do that. But then, yeah, then they came back with a 20%. Well, we don't want 5%. We want 20%.
But we need them. They don't need us. I mean, obviously if we do well, they'll make more money, but they don't really need us. So to me, it felt like we were being too demanding. But they turned on a dime when we told them that we were shopping and talking to Canna Advisors and some other folks like that, and all of a sudden it got turned off. I'm just hoping this isn't the only deal we can do. We've only got weeks left. This is kind of the most stressful I've been since I started this, other than occasionally having a little, oh my God, what am I doing kind of moment. It was the momentum of having Brian being willing to invest in me and in what we're proposing. You know, we talked to him 3 or 4 times, 5 or 6 times over this past month and a half, and talked about what a great team we put together. I really couldn't believe my ears. In total shock, total shock at the change in the deal. And I felt like sort of saying, Brian, what do you mean? That's not what you said before. When we started this venture, it was interesting because we were still sitting in rooms and whispering and not letting people know what we were talking about, because it felt like something bad because it's been illegal for so long. And it came at the same time I was being asked to sit as a church council member. And so one of the things I did was consult my pastor, and you know, on the basis that it's medicine we need and it's legal, he had no issues. One of the things I said to him as we were getting started is, you know, this is really up to God. I'm going to go through the motions of what I believe is needed to put together a business plan and an application, and really the rest is up to God.
Applications for licenses to run a dispensary or to be a grower or processor have officially been posted. It's a huge step for the Maryland Medical Cannabis Commission. The Maryland Medical Cannabis Commission will award up to 15 growers licenses and 2 dispensary licenses per senatorial district.
So you think we're out of options? I mean, it's so close to deadline.
No, I think there are other options. There's definitely other options at play. You know, there's other strategic partners out there that aren't involved in Maryland yet.
Yeah, but do we have time?
So with the application deadline being so close, yeah, you got to make a decision really quickly.
So what about Wendy? You think Wendy can help us with this?
Sure, yeah.
She keeps mentioning that company in Florida. Do you know much about them?
I do, yeah. I've been doing some research, you know. They're on the pot barrens of Colorado as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's it's a woman-owned company, or at least third, I think, owned.
That's pretty cool.
So let's call her, get her on the phone.
How do we know she won't do just exactly what Brian did? Take another weeks or months and then
Well,
just,
no, yeah, that's why the first
There's no way to
conversation
know
is
that,
we
is
don't
it?
have we have 48 hours to make a decision. Here's our business plan. Here's everything we have. This is what we want. This is what we want to give. Make a decision, yes or no.
so we need to
that's
call
it.
Wendy, don't we?
Yeah, if it wasn't
We need
for
to call
Wendy.
Wendy.
Without Wendy, we wouldn't have any of these deals. So let's call her, get her on the phone.
Okay.
Let's talk about getting Jamie on the phone and seeing if that's something that's a viable option. We have to do the same for Oahu, and it should be a quick process. 24, 48 hours. These guys are pretty quick. They mean business. They know what's going on, and they know that it's a deadline coming up, and that they have to put all their time into it. So, granted, you don't have anything yet, so it's nerve-wracking to say the least.
So Sharon, tell me a little bit. It sounds like the deal is not going as well as you planned with the other group out of Colorado.
Right. At this point, you've been in the business, and I've had to give away a little bit more equity than I wanted to just to get the right kind of people at the table. So at this point, I was really hoping to find somebody who would be willing to do the application for us for 5%.
I think you've got a great team put together, so I was able to talk with my team here in Colorado, and we would like to offer you the 5% of the application with the option in the future to have some available equity to buy into it, into the additional amount that you have left, providing funding to you as well.
Wow. Okay. All right. And how about that Wendy and the marijuana show? She is so cool. We wouldn't have even met if she hadn't introduced us.
That's right. She's changing people's lives, mine, yours, and hundreds of other people that want to be on the show or that have been already and are expanding their dreams and their businesses in the industry. So it's fabulous. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Kate, the numbers are staggering beyond anyone's expectations. More than 1,000 applications have come in, and many of them are from out of state.
Today we're waiting to get the receipt that our package arrived at the Maryland Medical Cannabis Commission, and my son keeps calling from my house saying, okay, I talked to the driver and he's now on Route 97, or I talked to the driver and there's absolute bedlam. So he went down there to make sure all the couriers who were working for him that day got their packages delivered. These are the same thing. It's labeled Precious Wells, Administrative Specialist, Maryland Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, and with the address, so they both say the same thing. But it was 3 o'clock in the morning by this time, and we were putting the cashier's checks in and the thumb drives. And we've been talking to this courier for 2 weeks because we knew they would be inundated. So this courier said, I personally took your package in and made sure it was delivered. And he's been calling my son and saying, I'm on the way back. And so we're still waiting for that. It would be a nightmare. It would be so extremely disappointing. I can't even tell you how much to have put the work we put into it and then not get an opportunity, so you want to assume that they're going to stay late and accept everyone that comes in before midnight, but you don't know. So it's been a little bit of anxiety today, and this is one of the things that helps me relax a little bit and supports our veterans. So what's happening? So he said there was one lady there whose application didn't get in?
He said there was a lady he had to tell, sorry, you didn't get it in time.
Oh, so they were couriering her package and they didn't get it?
No, she didn't get it to them in time to get it there in time.
The state received 1,081 applications, 811 for dispenser licenses. There are 146 grower applications, but the state will only award 15. And 124 processor applications. There's no limit on those.
I got the receipt.
Woohoo!
In the living room.
Okay.
The picture of it out there, yeah.
You gonna send me a picture of it?
I already did.
All right, so we got a receipt.